Even your emotion had an echo in so much space. When you out there without care, I was out of tone. But it wasn't because I didn't know, no. I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy?
Vasco, Fale. Sorry, we're very unconventional here. We scream here. We don't have phones to where I can call somebody in the kitchen to bring me a cup of coffee or something. I just have to scream it. Sorry. Just give me a moment. I just realized my voice is hoarse. So before I continue the broadcast, I need to drink something, coffee or something. Give me a moment. Fale. Vasco. Mami. When did they go tea? Thank you.
All I remember is thinking I want to be like them. Oh, yeah. Ever since I was little, it looked like fun.
All right. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to spend a few moments with me here on SML TV. Please forgive my voice. It's hoarse. I will drink some tea in a second, and it will be clear. Guys, we need to talk about this, and I think the more people talk about this, the more relevant it becomes, and the more important it is for us to have a clear picture of what's going on. Let me begin by saying that categorically, President Hakainde Hichilema has made a very big mistake. Now, let me preface this statement by saying, I'll never forget the very first press junket that President Hakainde Hichilema held at State House after he was elected president. And I attended that press briefing or press junket. And I remember him saying to me directly, the videotape is there, it's not a secret. He didn't say this under the cloud of secrecy or discretion. He said this in the open on live television. He said to me, Mr. Mwewa, you shouldn't be faulted for criticizing me. We want to create and foster an environment of constructive criticism. You shouldn't be faulted for constructively criticizing me. And so today, I am going to take this opportunity to constructively criticize our president, President Hakainde Hichilema. Sir, I know you watched this because you, by your own admission, you said that you follow what happens on social media. I'm not suggesting in any way that you're sitting over there in Abu Dhabi watching me. I'm not suggesting that I'm so important that the president of Zambia sits down to listen to Simon Weah. No, what I'm saying is I am aware because you told us. You said that I watch what happens on social media. And so I am confident that you will watch this, if not in part. You will watch this and you will hear what we have to say. The reason the president made a mistake is allowing the vendors to continue trading on the street will mark a return to unbridled caderism. Unbridled means uncontrolled, uncontained caderism. I saw it today. For those of you that follow my page, earlier today I was on the street because you see, I have to give you two angles of view. I cannot just sit in my office here and give you a podcast version of the reality on the ground. I have to be on the ground. I have to vlog. This is why it's important to vlog. It's important to record facts as they are. There's some of you that think that vlogging is inconsequential. There's a group of you that think that vlogging is childish or vlogging is just a product of a deranged mind. I mean, imagine all those pictures that you see from the 1960s, the 1950s. We are able to see them because somebody chose to photograph. Imagine a world where we didn't photograph, we didn't document things, we didn't record things. Everything was just word of mouth. Imagine that world. So for those of you that criticize this art of vlogging, if you don't like vlogging, swipe. Get the hell off of the page. This page is a vlogging page. I showed you earlier today as I was coming to work. I walked down Lumumba Road. I showed you the chaos and the ensuing mess that is about to befall the CBD. I showed it to you in real time. In real time, meaning live, unfiltered, unedited, raw footage of a city that is losing a grip of itself because we have allowed lawlessness to reign. Let me explain. You see, now that the president has announced that street vendors can now continue, this is after the local government minister announced that on Monday the 16th, which is today, vendors would be moved out of the street and relocated into designated trading areas. Now, designated trading areas simply means the markets, because that's where they're supposed to be. The sidewalk is not meant as a designated trading spot. It's not. When you go to city planning there at Lusaka City Council, and they show you the plan for Lumumba Road and the feeder roads, there's nothing there's nothing in there that says, oh, Inchende. Thank you, Mama. Sorry, guys, I have to do this. Otherwise, my voice is not going to work. I need this tea. Sorry, Mama. Thank you, Mama. Sorry, guys, just give me a moment. Otherwise, I'll be hoarse the whole time. Thank you. It's okay, Mom. It's okay. Mm-hmm. All right, better. When you go to city planning, you'll never find anywhere that says, okay, it's for street vendors. No. City planning will tell you This road it's a feeder road. It's for cars to come through so that the traffic is ameliorated. The traffic is reduced. The traffic jams are reduced. That's the purpose of the feeder road. City planning will show you that this is a sidewalk where people should use, where people walk so that they don't have to walk on the middle of the road. But we have now created an environment in Zambia where we say, no, just trade where you want. That's chaos. That is total chaos. Now, let me also explain why street vending has always been a thorn in every government's flesh. It's because it's a source of income for cadres. That's the bottom line. It is a source of income for cadres, but it's done at the expense of the city. Do you know what Lusaka City Council's job is? Do you even know? Two things: revenue collection, service delivery. Finished. The council's job is to generate an income from you and I. Generate an income from businesses within the city so that they can deliver services. Fix the roads, fix the lights, make sure that the roads are functioning, make sure that garbage is being collected. But then if you allow a huge chunk of the population to operate away from the umbrella of Lusaka City Council and generate an income that the council doesn't see, you're creating chaos. You are feeding and funding a sect of people that are not loyal to the city. They are loyal only to themselves. You think cadres are loyal to the city? Is that what you think? You think these cadres are loyal to Lusaka City? The city comes first. You must understand that. If you lose sight of that simple fact, then you are lost in the wilderness, and there's not any help that's coming for you. Let me explain also. You see, the mindset of the street vendor, this is the mindset of the street vendor, in case you don't know. On one hand, the street vendor will say, no, you can't remove us from the street because we don't have anywhere to go. That's a lie. More than 90% of the street vendors along Lumumba Road already have stands in the market. That is a fact. Love it, loathe it, refuse to accept it. It's up to you. Do whatever the hell you want. That is the truth. Okay? Number one. Number two, what the street vendors mean when they say, look for a place for us to go to. What they mean is this. They mean they want Lusaka City Council to come with a truck, get their goods, drive them to a market, walk them down the corridor, put the goods on a stand and say, okay, imwe mwakulachita trade apa. This is where you'll be trading. Who's going to do that? Nobody's going to do that. This idea of holding people's hands, this idea of spoon feeding everybody, saying, no, if mo street monosinza chokam until you show me where to trade. What they're saying to you and what they're saying to the local authority is, if you want me to remove myself from this spot on the street, you need to come physically pick me up, pick up my goods, take me to a spot that is convenient, lay me down there and say to me, this is where you're going to trade. That is not going to happen. It will never happen. It's a trick. It's a con. It's a con because they know you're not going to do that. And so they guilt trip you. Guys, nobody wants to disenfranchise anybody. You must know that. It's got nothing to do with disenfranchising anyone. You are listening to the wrong narrative when you begin to use words like vazadia chan. What are they going to eat? Balaya kuisa. Where are they going to go? You are losing and you're listening to the wrong narrative. Trading places are there in the markets for them to take the opportunity. All the 5 major markets in the CBD are enough. They are adequate to absorb the number of vendors. Now, let me explain what's going to happen now from this point on. Now that the president has announced what he's announced, Qatarism has now come back in full force because now they're territories. I mean, just today I showed you, I am no longer allowed to vlog along the feeder road on Lumumba Road because I am considered an enemy of street vendors. You know what that is? That's called protectionism, number one. Number two, there's another name for it. It's called Qatarism. They were throwing rocks at me today. Came very close to harming me. That's Qatarism. The moment you have any group of people that say, you can no longer come here. Anytime you have a group of thugs that say, this is a no-go area for you, you're promoting, allowing, germinating Qatarism to come back on the street in full force on a very wide scale. Wide scale. And that's where we're headed. Mr. President, and I'm hoping you're listening to this, when Honorable Gary Nkombo, when the local authority made the announcement, what should have happened was that your government should have rallied behind the local authority. That's what you should have done. Unfortunately, presidents oftentimes make decisions based upon intel that they're given. I mean, that's the job of a president. A president sits down, he listens to the guidance, he listens to the counsel, and then he makes a decision. But if you've got OP or people within the inner circle, the president's men who convince the president that, no, if you do this, we'll become popular, and the president makes a decision based upon that misinformation, we're in trouble. The city will not function. Now, I know the flip side of that would have been, had the president insisted on backing the local government, the local government minister. We know how opposition politics works. The PF would have stood up and said, but here's the bottom line. When people begin to see the logical benefit of the functionality of the city, they rally behind it. Are you hearing that? When people begin to see the logical functionality of a city, they see that the city's clean, garbage is being collected properly, roads are open and clear, sidewalks are being maintained, streetlights are being, people are trading in the designated spots, the council, the markets are generating money for service delivery. When people begin to see that, the whole country rallies behind you. You are wrong and you are misled when you say, no, they'll vote us out. That is a false narrative. Why? Because when you do the right thing for the city and it's self-evident, people rally behind it. Now, what you've indirectly promoted, Mr. President, is lawlessness. The street vendors are going to go, they're going to run amok. Now there will be more street vending than before. This Terrazzo, the manager of City Market, brilliant young man. He gave a directive last week. The Terrazzo, the shelter, is to be open and clear for customers, for pedestrians to have easy access to the market. The pathways should be open so that foot traffic flows seamlessly, because that's the way it's supposed to be. If you've ever been to England, Regent Street, there's a place called Regent Street. People walk in unison. There's no obstruction. People walk in the same direction. Why? Because they want the quicker people get to where they're going, the more money they will spend. Those guys understand that. So you cannot obstruct a pathway or a walkway. It's not good for business. It's bad. So the young manager in City Market announced that the shelter will be cleared of vendors so that people can walk clearly. After the president announced that vendors should continue, go to the terrazzo today. All those guys that were moved into the main market from the terrazzo are back in the terrazzo, the shelter. And when you ask them, why have you come back? What's the answer? The president has said we have to come back. Now, I said this in my earlier live, and I'll say it again. When you create an environment, any government that creates an environment that convinces the people that the president and the president alone can instruct you to move from the street, you are breeding chaos, because those vendors they're not loyal to you. They're not. They're loyal to themselves in as far as you support them. The moment you show them a different direction, they rise against you. So what's the key? The key is to serve the city. That's the key. The city comes first. The functionality of the city comes first. Always first. That way you don't have to deal with this mess. But when you foster this environment, when you foster this thing where I'm a street vendors, but to know my president now balandati tuifumamo. So what are you going to do with the lower organs? What's the purpose of the minister of local government? What's the purpose of the counselor? What's the purpose of the council police? What's the purpose of the local authority at civic level? You have literally undermined every organ below the presidency when you create an environment where the people begin to say, "Va president na balanda," and they know this. They manipulate you politicians. You see, this is the reason. Let me just go ahead and I'm going to say something to you that I have never said before, but it's the truth. It is the absolute truth. It's my truth. And I have to say it because it's the absolute truth. This is the reason I would never want to run for any office, mayor and all that, because you get sucked into a system that you don't believe in. You want to do the right thing, but somebody from up top calls you and says, "What are you doing there, Mwewa? Barakeabo, leave them." So what's it for then? If a minister of local government and housing is not allowed to do his job, if the mayor is not allowed to do their job in the interest of the city, then what's it all for? What are we doing here? Why are we even here? There's only one solution, Mr. President. The traders have to go back into the markets. Because let me tell you what's going to happen, sir, in case your intel hasn't told you. Cholera is going to break out. And make no mistake, it will break out. But then when you turn around and say, okay, cholera is broken out, move out of the street, do you know what our people are going to say? Munama! Mufuna chetu choke mu street, and that's what they will believe. I said this yesterday to some government official. I won't say who it was. I called him up yesterday. And I said, the person I was talking to, I said, do you know that our people are very easy to convince? but you have to be consistent and you have to do it with a heavy hand. Hear that, grab that. Our people, Zambians, are very easy to convince, but you can only do it when you are consistent and you have a heavy hand. The moment they see your weakness, the moment they see a lesion in your thin skin and blood begins to ooze and they smell the blood, they will circle around you like a pack of wolves and they will devour you until there is nothing left. Zambians. But if you make an announcement, you back the announcement with a logical conclusion and a determined end, and you are consistent, the people listen. Very, after a while, they start saying, anyway, that's how we are. But the moment they see weakness in you, they see a kink in the armor, they see a dent in your armor, and they see blood. The moment they smell your blood, they circle and they devour. So right now, as things stand right now, I am not allowed, I am no longer allowed to vlog on Lumumba Road. I'm not. They will beat me up. They will kill me. That's a fact. I mean, for those of you that are doubting that, go to the video before this one. It's there. I was doing it live. They were throwing rocks at me. That's the environment that you have fostered, Mr. President. Right now, from this moment forward, anything the Minister of Local Government says as it regards local government issues, these people are not going to pay attention to the Minister of Local Government. They'll just say, what are you saying? Minister, president, and you think that's good? You think that's good? You think it's okay? Because this is the third time that office has been undermined. The third time that the office of the Minister of Local Government has been undermined. And you think that's good? It's not good. It's terrible. It's awful. It's a disaster is what it is. People need to understand what the chain of command is. People need to understand that it is wrong when you rebel against authority. It's wrong. You cannot say in your own misguided wisdom as a street vendor, minister, local government minister, president. Nonsense. Buffoonery is what that is. Na ya ine. Wakula pianga fe apepene pa Simon mwe wapa. Jap. Ukukonso kuna batule shoko. Mwewa wiraisa koku Lumumba, wiraisa koku Freedom, wiraisa popa Cairo Road, ilia ture anda muchibemba so that mumfwe. Ilia kafio roundabout ilia fulu bakabolala, who are standing there under the umbrella of nowhere street vendors. How many people are robbed at Kafio roundabout there? How many? You tell me. Every day someone is robbed because you've got a bunch of guys there that shouldn't be there. That is a hub of criminal activity, and it's beginning to mushroom everywhere. We had hope in the beginning that this would be done away with. But with this recent announcement, Mr. President, if you do not rescind this decision, Lusaka will be unmanageable. It will be ungovernable. No one is going to listen to the local government minister. No one is going to listen to the mayor. No one is going to listen to the local authority. No one is going to listen to the councillors. Nobody is going to listen to anyone except the president. That's bad. That's not good. Naya. God bless.